Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build. Behind me, quite a few Teslas. I bought 4 Teslas at auction. They were all flooded in Hurricane Ian. Bought them completely sight unseen on the internet, shipped them here, and in today's episode, we're gonna jump into them and see what I got. Stay tuned. We've got Tesla number 1. This is a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, dual motor, non-performance, Model S 2018. As always, I'll tell you all the prices at the end and you can tell me how dumb I am. Tesla number 2 is a Model 3, 85 kilowatt hour battery pack, dual motor, performance model. Tesla number 3, Model S, 85 kilowatt hour battery pack, dual motor, non-performance. Tesla number 4 is last and very much least. It's an 85 kilowatt battery pack, single drive unit, rear wheel drive only, non-performance, early Model S. Now normally here at B is for Build, we just jump you guys right in the beginning with us and we just do all the discovery together. This episode is going to be a little bit different, but one thing at B is for Build is we never lie, we never fib the truth, we never try and deceive you guys at all on how we do these builds. Tesla's being so high tech, to really get into a lot of these cars and to get any progress, we had to get a Tesla mechanic. You guys probably know from seeing Rich Rebuilds videos and different videos, there's a lot of gray area around salvage Teslas and things like that. And so to be quite frank, also with us having 4 different cars, it was going to be a complete pain in the ass to do a bunch of different work orders. So I had a friend who's a Tesla mechanic come out here and help me fiddle with these cars. I don't think he did anything that Tesla would care about him doing, but just for the sake of safety, I did not want to show him on camera or any of that stuff. So he helped me through the basics on a lot of these cars, and trust me, there's a lot to go on all of these cars, but I did want to be totally honest with you guys that I jumped into these cars last night with a Tesla mechanic to start learning my way around. So in this episode, there's lots that we also haven't jumped into, but he's taught us kind of the steps, and I'm going to walk you guys through those steps and also just show you kind of what we've figured out so far. So let's start on this red bad boy here. So getting started on our early Model S, the first thing the mechanic showed me how to do is now, these were all ripped off at the auction yard. The front fascias were all ripped off at the auction yard. He just basically showed me, hey, there's your trunk latching mechanism, stick a screwdriver in there, pop your frunk open, and that gives us access to the frunk. The main thing that all of these cars have in common that are pissed off about is the 12-volt battery. We're going to call that the low voltage battery system. You have high voltage and low voltage. High voltage is the battery pack in the middle of the car. The low voltage batteries are dead on all of these cars. So what we did was we popped that guy off right there. We pulled some trim stuff back. You can see we still have it off. We popped that guy off right there and we put in another battery, and that battery also was like really low voltage. So we honestly didn't get anywhere on this car. We didn't have enough voltage to do much. The screen was flickering on the inside and we really couldn't get it to do anything, and we just assumed that I needed to buy a battery and we'd come back to it. So I didn't buy a battery, and here we are coming back to it. We're gonna just throw a bigger 12-volt battery right here, run jumper cables to the positive and negative, and hope with the more juice that we'll have more results. Let's do it. While Oscar's throwing up our new power situation, I did want to explain one interesting thing about this vehicle. It was sold to me as crashed, not flooded. There's no watermark on here, and it was saying that the primary damage was crash, and it's definitely been crashed in pretty weird ways. This car is one of the cars that has airbag suspension, so the bags are all aired out because it hasn't been running for a long time, but this wheel seems mysteriously too close back that way. A lot of crash damage over there and crash damage in the front, and then really nothing else. I think the rest of this damage is forklift shipping, most likely, and then around the back it's in pretty dang good shape all through the back. So it may have been crashed and then sitting in a repair yard and then flooded. It definitely was in Florida during the floods. And woo, that's a lot of power. Or did you put the positive to the ground?
I think I might have put it backwards.
Yeah, you put them backwards, man. That's the ground, that the hot lead is on the ground right now. Come on, man.
Negative red.
I'm glad we caught that on film. Anyways, we have seen signs of flooding that may be signs of flooding this bad boy, like all the way, like the cabin air filter. You're good now. I think any sparks now are just fun sparks. Oh, pull it off, pull it off, pull it off. Okay. That was not a good sound.
Coming out of this guy over here.
Oh, damn it. That's the DC to DC converter. That shouldn't be getting power. Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, this car might be toast. Well, that is a total mystery. Also, yeah, that box over there, I was instructed last night, that's the DC to DC converter. It converts the high voltage DC to low voltage DC to be used for all the 12 volt systems. So that's a really sketchy thing to be screwing with. We're gonna try and find a safer way to apply power to this bad boy, maybe using a more traditional like trickle charger or something like that. So we're standing way back right now because we plugged the normal 12 volt battery in like the traditional way, and it started smelling like sulfur, like really, really bad, which is a sign that the battery might just blow up soon. So we're just gonna let this car be for a second, maybe just move on. It's a really unexpected way to start the episode. That thing is having some serious power issues. I think that the DC to DC thing actually has an issue, probably because it was flooded and it's sucking a bunch of that 12 volt power and has a short in it, and it's probably trying to overheat. This did not happen last night, but we did get a weird sulfur smell last night. But I will tell you that the rest of the stuff never happened last night. So I'm just gonna tell you where we're at on the car and what the next steps on this car are, because once you understand what the next steps are, there's really no point in us risking serious damage to ourselves or catching the car on fire. So this car was bought for, oh, let me tell you the price. Bought that car for $9,100 and it cost $2,000 to ship it home. So all in, we are $11,100 in on this car. And the game plan was always to take the battery pack out and the rear drive unit out, use those in a future build, a future EV conversion, and sell what's left of the car back at auction. So that's always been the game plan, and from what we figured out last night, it really seems like the high voltage battery pack is fine on this car, but I definitely think the charging system has got something wonky in it. So what we need to do now, next steps for that vehicle, is just do our harvesting plan and then get rid of that thing and don't burn it down in the meantime. So as far as our plans, I think that's a pretty good purchase. All signs point to that battery pack, the high voltage battery pack in there, 85 kilowatt battery pack is good. All right, let's move on. We're gonna save the best for last. We're moving on to the next crappier Model S. So we approached this vehicle the same way. Fascia is ripped off by the auction, screwdriver, pop the hood, open the hood, and then we're gonna do the same jump start technique that we did in the other one. Now this one is different. It's a dual motor car, so there's a motor right here. The battery's not back where you saw it. Access, I don't even know where the battery is, to be completely honest with you. Access, oh yeah, the battery's right under here, but we didn't need to do that. And we're gonna turn on the car by applying power right here and just grounding the chassis right there. We'll show you what happens. This time, don't wire it up backwards and fry the hole.
This one's easier.
We're not doing good at adding power to things, and when the vehicles are 100% electric, whoa, jeez, okay, it scared me a little bit. Power's on. All right, once power's on, you hit this, door handles come out, and then you open the car, because we didn't lock it. And again, this is, I got through that phase with the technician here, and then we jump in the car. He taught me how to, well, also, this car said it didn't come with batteries. Now, this car did say it was flooded to about that level of the door, so about up to here. That's how far this car was flooded. There were two keys, even though it said it didn't have keys. There were two Tesla keys. Oh, here's one of them sitting in the glove box. And here's the other, it was in my pocket. So this key actually is paired with the car. It can do things. I don't know how these keys work because I've never had one. And you can see, like, I didn't do anything. I just jumped in the car and it's actually telling me stuff. So that's our main driving screen right there. And it's saying that we got like 95 miles of range, and it's a 130,000 mile car, which is a lot. And then this screen right here is telling us, you know, it's not happy about the frunk being open. Say ignore and continue to drive. And I doxed ourselves.
Showing where we are.
Yeah. I will just go ahead and have to blur that out. Okay, here's a different screen that looks better. So bunch of cool stuff about the vehicle. And from here, the technician pulled out his laptop, plugged it in, and ran a vehicle diagnostics on this vehicle, and it's gone. No, I'm kidding. It's a goner though. This vehicle has a battery isolation fault. So the high voltage battery pack in the bottom has an isolation fault, meaning one of the cells is not operating properly. Bummer. Or else we could just be driving this car around. It'd be cool. So this was another car though that I bought for parts. I wanted to harvest the battery pack and the motors. So this thing has two motors and the battery pack. Now, usually in the battery pack, not all the cells go at once. It's just one cell. I could buy a new cell, replace it, put the battery pack in the car, probably drive it around and have a perfectly fine Model S. Or I could do my plan, which is harvest the parts and move on. So I'm gonna harvest all of these parts, probably replace that cell so we have a standard 85 kilowatt battery pack, and then we'll have a motor again, and we got more EV parts to roll. So I'm being oddly optimistic because really the whole reason I bought this car is mostly for the battery packs, and the battery packs have a failure in them. But I really think we can fix it. I have really, really high hopes that we can fix that battery pack, so I'm not that bummed. Other than that, it's a really nice car. Leather interior, it's pretty cool. Great great condition for 130,000 miles. Cost for this bad boy, $11,954. $12,000 for the vehicle, $2,000 for shipping, $14,000 invested in this Tesla. Next, let's jump into the Model 3. By the way, if you're seeing these cars in the background, they're obviously not Teslas. That's an RX-7 that's just waiting to be rebuilt, and that's the Porsche Cayenne with the worst vehicle break-in history and luck in our fleet. It's waiting to be insurance claim totaled out. Anyways, Model 3. This car is really cool. Dual motor performance Model 3. So when the car comes to you like this, the battery's dead, you pop this guy off right here in the front. The auction yard did this for us as well, and it exposes these two leads right here. You can see there's a red one and a black one, and I don't know if I trust Oscar to do this anymore, but you want to match up the colors, Oscar?
I don't know, I'm colorblind.
He's not actually colorblind. You know, 10% of males are colorblind though. It's a huge number. So he's gonna put power there, and just after a second, go ahead and just leave it on there for a second. It's gonna pop. Why are we so bad at adding power to stuff? Maybe because the battery now has power, this doesn't want to work so people don't steal stuff out of your frunk. It's the only thing I can guess. Teslas have so much smarts in them. Guys, this is what I learned yesterday, is like they have an immense amount of smarts in them. They just won't do all sorts of different things based on different parameters. I'm guessing it can read, it has a lithium ion battery that's right in there. It's still a low voltage battery. I think it's 16 volts. And I'm guessing the car is reading that thing has enough power to pop it. And it's saying, no thanks, man. Let's see while it's unlocked if it'll do it. So basically you just connect them up, leave it for a few seconds, and it just makes a pop sound. Oh, I mean, it activates a solenoid. There we go. Okay, so issue was the car was locked. I don't know how you do it if the car's locked when you get it. So anyways, go ahead and open up the front area. So from here, I can't remember what we did. Do we pull this? Oh yeah, so we pulled this guy off. We put positive power to right here. We put ground to right here. And that gave us enough juice to open the car door, and the car was unlocked. And these door handles are different. So like that. And then I jumped into a car. It smells like weed a lot. Oh, that's the neighbor. And then I opened the car door, and I don't know if you can hear these fans running. The fans started kicking on and everything got really, really exciting. Now this vehicle was sold to us at auction, and the only thing that we saw at auction was that this screen was on. So that was really, really cool. And from there, the technician was able to dial into this car, see that everything was working fine, and just say, hey, we need to make a replacement key. He had a key in his pocket, one of these bad boys. Apparently you put this thing right here. So on a Model 3, you have a key that looks like that, and it works right there, or you do it on your phone, I guess. I know nothing about Teslas, by the way, guys. So anyways, now that that's done, he made a key, we put our foot on thing, and I don't know if you can hear that. I'm gonna turn the mic around. I'm putting my foot on the brake here. So that is a traction control system, or it sounds like the ABS system thinking that we are out of control, and boy, is it pissed. But cool thing is, we put this thing into drive, say ignore and continue to drive, and shift into D. Let me shift into D. And here we go. Whoa! We drove. We traveled multiple feet. Speed limited to 15 miles an hour. Good, good, good. Traction control super pissed. Not sure about that. Anyways, put it back into park, and we're good. There are a few errors. We got an ABS error that I wouldn't expect. The traction control is really pissed. That's right up here that I wouldn't expect. Tire problems. The brights are on. Oh, I think that's just telling us our headlights are on. So a few things, but overall this car did go through the diagnostics thing on the technician's laptop, and it was like pretty cool. No major faults, nothing too catastrophic on this vehicle, and it has the crazy mode autopilot, like a $15,000 add-on of autopilot. Let me see one thing. I want to see if I have track mode loaded onto this thing or not. So again, I don't know anything about Teslas, but there are the track mode settings, and then there is drift mode here and all that stuff. So I'm sure at some point I can create a race mode or a drift mode, and this bad boy will drift. That's pretty damn cool. This is the car that I bought for performance, and it works and does performance things, which is awesome. So we got a good working one right here in the Model 3, and honestly, it was pretty dang easy. You can see where the water level was. It survived flooding that far. This car, though, was expensive. I really, really wanted to get a performance model. At the end of the year, the auctions are a little bit higher than normal. This was $32,000. Shipped home brings it to $34,000. It's not, well, it's a good buy because it has the $15,000 add-on of the full autopilot. It's not really a good buy because I can run down the street and buy one of these. It isn't salvaged for $45,000. So if I'm going to use the autopilot a ton, which I'm not, it would have been a decent buy. But instead, it's just a kind of okay buy. because it has all the performance add-ons and everything like that. This car has a ton of potential to go really, really fast, 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, fully electric, and a really, really chill, reliable car. So a lot of potential to do a lot of really fun things with this thing, and you're definitely going to see it a lot more on the channel. As you will with all of these, because we got to do something with them. And finally, we're moving on to our last Model S. This is a dual motor with a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, and this one has been completely untouched. Reason being, well, we did touch it in some way. We tried to pop the frunk. We pulled on that guy, didn't do anything. We pulled on the other guy over here, and it ripped off. You can see it right here on the ground. So what we did was we decided to sleep on it a little bit and see if anybody in the Tesla community knew another way to get into this frunk. And turns out there's a better way than what we were gonna do, which is cut off wheel and cutting a hole in this. So the body on this car is very, very nice. I really like the paint color. I really like the looks of it. So I didn't want to screw it up. And turns out, here's the hack. This is plastic right back here. And if you go just to the left of the Tesla symbol into this plastic area, drill a hole, and it'll give you access to that latch. Then we'll flip the latch over with a screwdriver and we'll pop the frunk. So, breaking into Tesla's 101, Oscar's got a screwdriver. Let's do it. Aha, we got it. That was cool. So, if anybody needs to do this at home, breaking into your own Tesla, don't be a criminal. Got that flashlight on you? Drilled a bunch of holes next to the T. Did you hit that cable and pull up on the cable?
Exactly.
Yep, hit the cable, pull up on the cable, allowed us to release the hood, and then from here, I think we're gonna be taking some plastics off. Looks like we're gonna need to take this guy off too. And that's probably the same style of fuse block that we had in the other car. All right, we took a couple of those plastic trays off right there, detached the draining hoses right there, and then just slid that thing out of the way, and we got access to see our battery, our fuse block, just like what we saw in the other Model S. And we're gonna go ahead and apply power this time and really hope we don't see as much smoke and fireworks as the last time. All right, Oscar, so the red goes on the positive one. Good.
What it is?
Yeah.
What if it's black?
Good, just throw it on there and we'll, hey, the car is alive. Cool, stuff happened. All right, let's go inside and see what it thinks. So my tech friend told me that, you know, so we saw signs of life with all the windows like kind of moving up a little bit. So that was good. And then you put your foot on the brake for 30 seconds and then stuff might start to happen even if you don't have a key. So hopefully it has enough power, stuff starts to happen. At this point, my foot has been on for quite a while and I'm a little bit worried. We don't seem to have power anywhere else. If these two screens are dead from the flood, like, I mean, this car could be dead. Seeming like bad news on this car. Okay guys, as you can see, it's a little bit darker outside. We decided to just really try a lot of different options, applying more power, even switching out the battery, just to be really, really sure. This car did not send any signals up to the mothership, the Tesla mothership, to say what's going on. The computers are not activating when we press the brake pedal. It has some really core functionality, like the windows just barely bumping up when we plug it in, but other than that, this thing is totally and completely bricked. Really bad news. This is the one I really wanted to drive around. The interior is beautiful. It's a 2018 model and I really like it, and it's really not gonna go anywhere. So the silver Model 3 was a dual motor, non-performance edition. Like I said, newer though, 2018. That one cost us $17,000 with $2,000 shipping, 19,000 bucks. That's a big L. It does have a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack though. And just because the low voltage system in the computer's not working, most likely because they were flooded and they died in the flood, that does not mean that the battery pack is good or bad. That's a complete unknown. So again, we bought all these Model S's. They were bought to salvage battery packs and motors, and we'll let you know on that battery pack once we get it out of the vehicle, which will be in another episode further down the line. We're making really good progress on getting our really big shop booked up, or like set up, shop agreement finalized, I should say. So once we get into that shop, then we can finish like processing all the Model S's. And the Model 3, that is the only good news here, is that the one that we really wanted to be able to drive around actually drives. So that's awesome. Part of the reason I wanted to do this is because I wanted to get into the EV market a little bit more. I wanted to do some EV conversions on vehicles this year, and I wanted to get parts. So really, we were just hunting for packs and motors. This whole story, this journey is not going to be over until we harvest the packs from these cars, see what kind of condition they're in, get the motors out, and then sell the rest of the vehicle and see what, because these vehicles have amazing body parts and things like headlights and taillights and wheels and brakes and just so much good stuff still in these vehicles. It's completely fine after the floods. And so that'll tell us the whole story. But I did want to also just like, so for you guys to know kind of consumer information, should you buy a salvage Tesla? I can tell you this one right here, that's marked non-serviceable from Tesla. So if you call and you ask for a Tesla tech to come out to help you, they can't touch that vehicle. This one, not the case. They can mess with that one, and I'm not sure about the other two. But overall, I would just say no, don't do it. And also, just as with flood cars in general, back in the day, we used to get great deals on flood cars. We bought a Subaru, a Hawkeye, WRX STI in 2019, and I got that car for $3,000, and we did some basic work on it. It was a very low risk investment, basic work on it. We had it running in a week. That was like really solid, and so that's an example of how cheap cars were going that were flooded back in the day. I've been looking at exotic cars in these Florida floods. I was looking at Teslas. I've looked at pretty much everything, conversion vans, all sorts of great stuff. And man, these cars are selling for a cost almost as if like they weren't flooded. Cars with certificate of destruction titles that you can never drive on the street again. They're just selling like they don't have that bad title. These cars are selling at radically high prices for an unknown reason. So my 2 cents, if you want to buy a salvage Tesla and you want to get a good deal, you're going to need to do a lot of hunting. And if you really want to do it through the salvage auctions and not buy it used to save that like $10,000 that we saved here, what I would say that you should probably be doing is looking for one that was in a mild wreck with just body damage, so it's still marked as runs and drives from the insurance company, meaning that it did not damage the high voltage battery pack, and then you're just doing standard body repair. And I think that that would be the safest way to go about it if you're really dead set on doing it. If you're really risk averse, I'd say probably just buy from the used market and go that direction. So yeah, part of BS for Build is, you know, we're gonna take those risks and we're gonna let you guys know how it ends up in the long run. So this story is not yet done, because what if we took this one that we bought for $17,000, harvest the $15,000 worth of battery packs and motors, and then what if we sold it back for $10,000 again? Then we'd be obviously getting, you know, our motors and battery packs for like $7,000, which is a great price. So that's kind of how this story is going to unfold, because I can tell you, I know just from looking at the interior and the exterior of that vehicle, there's a lot of money and parts left in that. But we'll have to wait and find out. All right, guys, one last thing. Remember, if you want a chance to win our 370Z drift car, we are giving it away in just about 3 weeks from now. All the rules are at BIsForBuild.com. Go check it out. We got all sorts of new merch, and all the proceeds of that go to help supporting us do this fun stuff that we're doing here. So we very much appreciate everybody that's got merch and got entered to win that car, and we're super excited to give it away to one of you guys very, very soon. So thanks for that, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!